Let's get straight to the point. You think your eyes just peacefully close at night and everything shuts down like a well-behaved computer going to sleep mode. Wrong. While you're drooling on your pillow like a brain-dead slug, your eyeballs are conducting a full-scale horror show inside your skull. You're not resting, you're running a biological nightmare factory, and your eyes are the star performers. Today, 8 terrifying things your eyes do while you dream. Let's count down this ocular apocalypse. Number 8. The REM seizure spectacular. Look at you lying there like a deflated balloon, thinking sleep is some peaceful timeout from reality. Meanwhile, under those crusty eyelids, your eyes are having violent spasms that would make an epileptic hummingbird look calm. You ever seen someone in deep sleep with their eyes twitching like broken windshield wipers? That's you, and you look absolutely unhinged. Wrong. Here's the deal. During REM sleep boom, your eyes are darting around at speeds that would give a chameleon whiplash. You think dreams happen in your head? Your eyeballs are literally tracking every imaginary thing in your dream, chasing monsters, falling off cliffs, running from your ex. They're acting out the whole demented movie like unpaid stunt doubles trapped in a horror film. Scientists call this REM-associated saccadic eye movements, where your pons fires electrical signals through your oculomotor circuits like a malfunctioning fuse box. Your motor cortex is still firing commands as if you're awake, but your body is paralyzed by REM atonia. Inhibitory neurons flood your muscles with glycine and GABA neurotransmitters, basically putting your body in a chemical straitjacket so you don't physically act out your dreams. Studies using electrooculography show your eye movement patterns during dreams match real-world scanning behaviors. Your brain fully believes the hallucination is reality, and your eyeballs are the only body parts allowed to participate in the madness. Here's the scary part. Chronic REM disruption from your trash sleep habits fragments this system. Your eye movements become chaotic, your limbic system stays hyperactivated, and your prefrontal cortex gets sidelined. Long-term REM dysfunction is linked to mood disorders, memory problems, and increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. It gets worse. If REM atonia fails, you develop REM sleep behavior disorder. You'll actually act out your dreams, punching, kicking, and potentially injuring yourself or others while completely unconscious. It's like your eyes are running a high-speed obstacle course while your body is locked in solitary confinement and the guards forgot to tell your eyeballs about the lockdown. Stop nuking your REM with late-night screen binges and caffeine overdoses. Give your oculomotor system a chance to not have a seizure every night. Number 7. The microscopic mite orgy. Admit it, you scrub your face with your fancy skincare routine and think you're squeaky clean. Adorable. As soon as you close your eyes and drift off, your eyelashes become the hottest nightclub in town for 8-legged parasites. You aren't sleeping alone, you're hosting a full-blown arachnid rave on your lid margins, and they're having more action than you've had all year. Spoiler alert, you have face mites. Specifically, Demodex follicularum and Demodex brevis. These microscopic spider relatives live in your eyelash follicles during the day, burying themselves headfirst like tiny vampires feeding on your sebaceous oils. But at night, when your eyes are closed and still, they back out of your pores, crawl across your skin surface, and mate. They're literally having sex parties on your eyeballs while you dream about your high school crush. These microscopic arthropods thrive in the sebaceous glands and meibomian glands of your eyelids. Here's the disgusting part. They lack an anus, so they store all their waste inside their bodies until they die and explode like tiny fecal grenades, releasing a lifetime of bacteria and excrement directly onto your ocular surface. When populations boom, you develop Demodex blepharitis, inflammation that causes cylindrical dandruff at your lash bases and blocks the oil glands that keep your tear film stable. Studies show that up to 84% of people over 60 have these mites, and poor hygiene makes populations explode exponentially. Here's where it gets worse. If you don't wash your sheets or face regularly, you could have dozens crawling over a single eyelid. That itchiness you feel in the morning? Those are mites crawling back into their holes after their nightly reproduction marathon. Their decaying corpses and fecal matter trigger immune responses that make your eyes red, crusty, and swollen. It gets worse. Severe infestations can cause trichiasis, chalazion formation, and chronic meibomian gland dysfunction that permanently damages your tear production. Imagine a microscopic frat party in a hot tub, except the hot tub is your tear duct and the frat boys are spiders that never leave to use the bathroom. They just explode and leave their waste floating in your eye juice. Wash your face, you filthy animal. Or continue providing luxury accommodations for your arthropod tenants. Your choice. Number 6. The hydraulic eyeball crusher. Look at you sleeping face down like a pancake, mashing your precious eyeballs into that pillow like you're trying to squeeze juice out of grapes. You think it's comfortable, cozy even, completely oblivious that you're running a hydraulic press on your own vision every single night for 8 hours straight. Here's the truth. Every time you sleep prone or side sleep with your face planted, you're cranking up the intraocular pressure inside your eyes like you're inflating a balloon until it pops. Your eyeball isn't some indestructible marble, it's a fluid-filled sac with very specific pressure requirements. Normal intraocular pressure ranges from 10 to 21 millimeters of mercury. When you compress your eye against a pillow, that pressure can spike by 30 to 50%. This happens because you're literally squishing the aqueous humor, the clear fluid inside your eye, into a smaller space, forcing it to push harder against the delicate trabecular meshwork, your eye's drainage system, and optic nerve head. Studies using continuous tonometry show that prone sleeping can increase IOP dramatically, especially in people with compromised drainage. Your episcleral venous pressure rises when lying flat, making it harder for fluid to drain out through the Schlemm's canal. The ciliary muscle contracts, further restricting outflow while gravitational changes alter the dynamics of aqueous humor circulation. Here's the scary part. This is exactly how glaucoma works, the silent thief of sight that's the second leading cause of blindness worldwide. Sustained elevated pressure crushes retinal ganglion cells and their axons in the optic nerve, slowly killing them off like you're strangling your peripheral vision one nerve fiber at a time. It gets worse, you can't feel this happening. By the time you notice vision loss, thousands of nerve fibers are already dead and gone forever. You're essentially sleeping with a vice grip slowly compressing your vision into oblivion, one REM cycle at a time, like marinating your optic nerve in hydraulic torture. Sleep on your back, genius. Stop trying to hydraulically crush your own eyeballs into blindness. It's literally that simple. Number 5. The corneal suffocation chamber. You probably think your eyelids are protective little blankets keeping your eyes safe and cozy. How precious. In reality, you're sealing your corneas in an airtight tomb every night, cutting off their primary oxygen supply and watching them slowly suffocate like goldfish in a plastic bag. Here's the deal. Your cornea, the clear front window of your eye, has 0 blood vessels. It gets oxygen directly from the atmosphere when your eyes are open. The moment you slam those eyelids shut for 8 hours, you've created an oxygen-starved environment where your corneal cells start gasping for air like drowning victims. This condition is called corneal hypoxia. During sleep, atmospheric oxygen is blocked by your palpebral conjunctiva, causing partial pressure of oxygen to plummet dramatically. Your cornea tries to compensate by getting oxygen from the aqueous humor and palpebral vessels, but it's not nearly enough. The corneal epithelium and endothelium start experiencing metabolic stress as lactate builds up and pH drops. Your endothelial pump function, which keeps the cornea clear by pumping out excess fluid, begins to fail without adequate oxygen. This leads to corneal edema and stromal haze that makes your vision blurry when you wake up. Here's where it gets worse. Chronic hypoxia triggers neovascularization. Your body desperately tries to grow blood vessels into the normally clear cornea to deliver oxygen. Once blood vessels invade your cornea, they never leave, permanently clouding your vision like frosted glass. It gets worse. The swelling and metabolic disruption can cause epithelial erosions, tiny scratches on the surface that feel like sandpaper grinding against your eyelid every time you blink. It's like wrapping your head in plastic wrap and trying to breathe through a cocktail straw that's slowly being pinched shut, except the suffocation lasts all night and happens to the most sensitive part of your body. Unless you figure out how to sleep with your eyes open like a psychopath, except that you're slowly asphyxiating your vision. Sweet dreams, suffocation enthusiast. Number 4. The demonic eye roll protocol. Go look in a mirror right now. Close your eyes slowly and try to imagine what your eyeballs are doing behind those lids. You probably think they're just sitting there politely, looking straight ahead at the back of your eyelids like well-behaved organs. Wrong. If someone pried your eyes open while you were sleeping, they wouldn't see your pupils. They'd see the whites of your eyes because your eyeballs have rolled back into your skull like a possessed demon from a horror movie. Here's the deal. It's called Bell's phenomenon, and it's a protective reflex that makes you look absolutely terrifying. As you close your eyes to sleep, your eyeballs automatically rotate upward and outward by about 15 to 20 degrees. It's a biological fail-safe designed to protect your cornea. If your eyelid were damaged or failed to close completely, the most vulnerable part of your eye is tucked safely under the bony ridge of your superior orbital rim. This happens through a coordinated dance between your levator palpebrae superioris muscle, which lifts your eye, and your superior rectus muscle, which rotates the eye upward. The neural pathway connects the facial nerve 7 and oculomotor nerve 3rd in a synergistic reflex. During this upward rotation, your inferior oblique and superior rectus muscles maintain constant tension to hold this unnatural position, while your optic nerve gets stretched like a rubber band pulled taut. Here's the scary part. You spend 1/3 of your life with your eyes rolled back like a reanimating corpse. For some people, this mechanism is asymmetrical or fails completely, leaving the cornea partially exposed. If you wake up with dull headaches behind your eyes, it's often because those extraocular muscles have been flexing all night to keep your eyeballs buried in your skull. It gets worse. The constant stretching of the optic nerve and muscle tension can contribute to tension headaches and eye strain before you've even opened your eyes. It's like a turtle retracting its head into its shell, except the turtle is made of wet jelly and it jams itself so far back it almost touches your brainstem, then holds that position for 8 hours straight. Don't worry about it. Looking like a reanimated corpse every night is totally normal. Very chic, very demonic. You're nailing the possessed look. Number 3. The bacterial soup kitchen. You go to bed without washing your face, yesterday's mascara still clinging on like barnacles on a ship, pillowcase older than your last relationship. Then you wonder why you wake up with crusty eye gunk like a raccoon that lost a street fight. Spoiler alert, your closed eyes just hosted an all-night bacterial buffet that would make a petri dish jealous. But here's the kicker. While you're unconsciously drooling, your eyelids and tear film become a warm, moist paradise for every microscopic organism that wants to throw a party. Your closed eyes create the perfect breeding ground, dark, humid, nutrient-rich, and sealed off from the outside world like a bacterial incubator running at body temperature. Your conjunctival sac and lid margins naturally host over 250 different species of bacteria, including Staphylococcus, Corynebacterium, and Propionibacterium. During sleep, your tear production drops to almost nothing, eliminating the natural flushing action that normally washes away debris and microorganisms. These bacteria feast on dead epithelial cells, sebaceous oils, and mucin from your goblet cells, reproducing exponentially in the stagnant environment. Many produce biofilms, protective fortress structures that shield them from your immune system and create sticky matrices that trap more debris. Some bacteria produce lipases that break down the oils in your meibomian glands, destabilizing your tear film and causing evaporative dry eye. Here's where it gets worse. Chronic bacterial overgrowth causes blepharitis, inflammation that makes your eyelids red, swollen, and crusty. The biofilms can block your meibomian gland openings, permanently damaging the oil-producing cells. It gets worse. Severe infections can lead to hordeolum, chalazion formation, and conjunctivitis that turns your eyes into bloodshot, weeping disasters. You're essentially slow-cooking a bacterial stew in your own eye socket every night. Your eyes at night are like a warm petri dish in a filthy laboratory, sealed, humid, and packed with nutrients for whatever microscopic horror wants to set up camp and multiply. Wash your damn face before bed. Change your pillowcase more than twice a year. Try acting like your eyeballs deserve basic hygiene instead of a nightly bacterial orgy. Number 2. The nocturnal eye leak. Admit it, you think you look peaceful and angelic when you sleep, like some Renaissance painting of serenity. But there's a solid chance you're actually one of those creepy people who sleeps with their eyes partially open, lying there with a sliver of white eyeball showing like a horror movie zombie waiting to activate. You think you're shut down for the night, but your corneas are peeking out, slowly desiccating into biological beef jerky. Here's the truth. It's not just creepy. It's a medical failure called nocturnal lagophthalmos, and about 20% of people have it without even knowing. Your orbicularis oculi muscle, the one that closes your eyelids, isn't forming a complete seal. This means the delicate surface of your cornea is exposed to the dry, stale air of your bedroom all night long, while your tear film evaporates faster than water in Death Valley. The tear film is a complex 3-layer system. An outer lipid layer prevents evaporation, middle aqueous layer provides nutrients and oxygen, and inner mucin layer helps tears stick to the cornea. When your eyelids fail to seal completely, you get rapid tear evaporation and osmotic stress on your corneal epithelium. Without the constant lubrication and protection of blinking, the surface cells begin to desiccate and slough off like old paint peeling from a wall. This leads to exposure keratopathy. Literally, damage from exposure, where your cornea develops punctate erosions and epithelial defects. Here's the scary part. When you wake up and your eyes feel gritty, that's not just sleep dust. That's dead corneal tissue. You've literally eroded the surface of the most sensitive part of your body. If this continues, your cornea can develop sterile ulcers or become infected, leading to microbial keratitis. It gets worse. Infected ulcers can melt through the corneal stroma, causing perforation. Your eye could literally spring a leak and collapse like a punctured balloon. It's like leaving a piece of raw steak on the counter for 3 days until the edges curl up and turn into leather. That crusty, dried-out texture? That's your eyeball surface every morning, marinating in its own dehydration. Tape your eyes shut if you have to, or invest in some artificial tears and a humidifier, or just continue letting your corneas turn into ocular jerky. Your call, beef eyes. Number 1. The glymphatic waste disposal disaster. You live like a caffeinated raccoon, screens all day, energy drinks for breakfast, sleeping 3 hours between TikTok binges, and still expect your eyes to function like precision instruments for the next 60 years. Meanwhile, your retinas and optic nerve are pulling desperate overnight shifts, trying to haul out the biochemical garbage you've been accumulating, but you keep sabotaging their only chance to clean house. Here's the deal. While you sleep and dream, your brain's glymphatic system, the waste removal network that prevents your neural tissue from drowning in its own metabolic trash, kicks into overdrive. Emerging research shows that similar clearance pathways exist around your optic nerve and retinal tissues. You think sleep is optional? You're literally skipping the nightly garbage pickup for the most irreplaceable parts of your visual system. During deep sleep, astrocytes port shrink by up to 60%, expanding the interstitial space so cerebrospinal fluid can flush out toxic proteins like beta-amyloid, tau, and alpha-synuclein, the same protein clumps linked to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases. Your perivascular spaces around retinal blood vessels act as drainage channels, connecting to intracranial CSF circulation. Slow-wave sleep is crucial for this process. Your glial cells coordinate rhythmic CSF pulsations that wash metabolic waste toward venous outflow. Disrupted sleep architecture, especially reduced delta wave activity, cripples this clearance system, leaving toxic proteins to accumulate in retinal ganglion cells and optic nerve axons. Here's the scary part. Skip quality sleep regularly, and your visual system marinates in its own metabolic sludge. Those microscopic waste products irritate and damage cells that cannot regenerate once they die. It gets worse. The same protein aggregates that cause dementia aren't magically excluded from your visual pathways. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to increased risk of glaucoma, age-related macular degeneration, and optic neuropathy, basically, your eyes rotting from the inside out while you brag about your grind culture. Imagine never taking out the trash and just shoving garbage into the walls of your house. That's your retinas and optic nerve without proper sleep, festering, fermenting, quietly decomposing while you scroll through memes at 3 a.m. Go to bed like a functioning organism instead of a malfunctioning robot. Consistent sleep schedule, dark room, no screens, or keep speedrunning your own visual apocalypse. Darwin would be proud. All right, you REM cycling eye abusers. That's the list. Now that you know your eyes are running a full-scale biological horror show every time you close them, do something productive for once. Smash that like button. It takes less muscle coordination than the demonic eye spasms you're having right now. Hit subscribe because clearly you need someone to explain your own anatomy to you before it completely malfunctions. Share this with someone who sleeps in their contacts and thinks eye crusties are totally normal. I'm Coolest Dudes, and I'll see you next time, assuming you haven't suffocated your corneas or crushed your optic nerves by then.